Hey everybody, good morning. It's Pete. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Thursday morning, August 13th, 2020, and the S&P 500, the SPY ETF, came super close to one push to hit those all-time highs again yesterday, which is incredible if you read the news. So the market is completely discounting everything that's going on in the real world. For those of you that are wondering and saying, I don't understand what's going on. Well, we keep saying it every day. You can't fight the Fed. At this particular moment, there'll probably be a little bit of profit taking sometime within the next few days. We're right there, right at that level. We didn't hit it yet. The NASDAQ hit it a while back. The Dow's not even close. But you have to be watching it right now because there's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines and how do I know that? Volume has been ridiculously light. There's no other way to put it. Interestingly, one of the first scans that I run every morning is for increase in volume, double what stocks normally do. And the list just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So there's less activity on a daily basis as we keep floating higher, which just means that if you're smart, you start allocating shares differently. You start to build positions. You start to be super disciplined in your stop loss, which we saw 2 days ago when the market got crushed in the afternoon. And then yesterday opens up higher again. You can't make the argument that it always bounces back because there's going to be one or two opportunities where it doesn't bounce back. And if you don't have a stop loss, you could blow up your account. So please use a stop loss. Don't continue to believe. I know you don't want to use double negatives, but stop believing that a stop loss is preventing you from making more money. That's foolish. There is not one trading book on the planet where you will see that somebody says don't have a stop loss. Not one ever. The only place you'll ever see that is maybe somebody will say buy a put instead of using a stop loss, but that's still using protection. You're still protected to the downside. So I'm imploring you, we're going to start to see something change. Be on top of your game. Be on top of your game. We're going to talk a little bit about, oh, by the way, if you find these videos helpful, definitely click down and subscribe. And if you'd like to trade together, definitely click down and see how other people are doing in the boot camp. I think you'll really be interested. We're going to talk about earnings a little bit. We're going to talk about why I'm not holding that many overnights right now. And we're going to talk about why you don't want to be bottom fishing earnings. We've had a few people saying down here. And I'm like, no, no, it had bad guidance, whatever that stock happened to be. And it keeps gaps lower, keeps trading lower, heavier volume in those stocks that the attention is now selling it. Don't be a hero. Don't jump in front of it and say, I'll get in the way and I'll make it stop and I'll get the best price on the planet. No, didn't happen with Tesla. Tesla traded down, finally had a little bit of attention yesterday, but a lot of these popular stocks, the stocks that everybody's trading that have liquidity, volatility, and easier to read every day that have had bright earnings are, boom, going in the other direction. And if you're getting in the way, you're getting hurt. So we're going to take a look at NVAX first and where it is now to really drill this point home. But I touched on it just a second there, but I'm not carrying that many overnights right now because the market's really not calling for it. A lot of the stocks that were in play for a while have fallen out of favor where there's pullbacks and they're not recovering yet. We're starting to build positions, but nothing like we did before when they were traveling straight to the upside and making all-time highs. Now, typically when the stock pulls back off all-time highs, it's a no-brainer. You should. That's kind of like a trading rule where you should be bidding that one. And they're pulling back, but we're just not seeing the buying come back in with the same viciousness as it rallied for the last couple of months. So it's interesting, but that's a signal. That's a signal to say something changed. And until we start to buy it, it becomes easier where it's moving in your favor. It's not a time to just go in and say, give me all my shares. Good example yesterday, two stocks that we actually traded pretty heavily, Penn Gaming and AMD. Both were really profitable trades yesterday, but my gosh, you're pulling your hair out waiting for the thing to move. So we're not seeing that quick, boom, big, huge green candle, and then it's easy to sit back and pour yourself a cup of coffee. We had to work for our money yesterday. We had to put on the overall. So congratulations to everybody in the boot camp who took advantage of those because there were very few stocks that were obvious like that. And you made money because we do a really good job of game planning every day. So that's actually awesome to see. So we're going to head over to the charts. We're going to use NVAX as an example just to really drill that point home about earnings. This is why I'm not carrying overnights, and I've been saying it in the boot camp every single day. why I'm also absolutely not carrying overnights in any of these COVID stocks, because there's any wind could blow and they could explode or implode. And if you happen to be on the wrong side of that trade, if you short sell as an active trader, which you can see the last 2 days, there was opportunity to do that. If you're on the wrong side of a news story, you can get absolutely hammered. Very similar to Zoom right now, ZM. I'm not trading it because I don't like it when a stock gets halted. It can happen to any stock, but that stock is so in play right now as far as a lot of people are using it, but it's opening itself up to those hacks. So I'm staying away from Zoom right now. So anyway, my point is this: not carrying an overnight, not looking to feel like it's bottomed out, and now the stock's opening $7 lower. So good example here of being smart and being in the right trades, and putting yourself in a position to consistently win, which really starts out with knowing what not to do. Jesse Livermore said it. Every great trader has said it. You need to first learn what not to do in order to really turn your career around. And like that, when you start to minimize mistakes, trading becomes dramatically more fun. So that's a good example. I just wanted to drill that home. So obviously we're going to take a look at the SPY, and we'll compare the SPY, the NASDAQ, and the Dow using the ETF. So obviously this is where we are. We're a little bit lower right now. NASDAQ E-mini futures are kind of flat. I mean, just the fact that they're red is like historic right now. So anyway, we're sniffing it right there. I'd be pretty surprised if we didn't at least touch it today, if not break through. So you can see the NASDAQ and the Q specifically broke through those highs much, much earlier, and the Dow kind of lagging. Not lagging by much, but a nice run over the last few days. So we're going to actually get into some ideas today. Obviously, we have jobless claims today, so be aware of that at 8:30. That might change things. Hasn't changed anything for the last 7 weeks. Record unemployment numbers, and the market just keeps going higher. So again, pay attention to the tape. Don't pay attention to your opinion. NTES has earnings pre-market. Might have came out already. After the close is at AMAT scheduled and Baidu. So anyway, now we're going to get into, somebody called this out in the boot camp yesterday, and I said not yet because of how far it's recently traveled, but I love this breakout. This is one of those trades that you should be setting up in your watch list to look for the next pause after this breakout, which looks like it just needs to stay above 32. Find a good spot above 32. Then we're looking at 44. This could be a relatively stress-free trade through that level. Broadcom, which actually we mentioned yesterday, and you can see why. This is actually doing exactly what we just said to look for in EAT, where it punches through a level, pauses, and now looking for a trade. And as long as it's above this level and you got this kind of a pause, yesterday was really only the first day, so we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Dollar General and Dollar Tree, both stocks that broke out yesterday and looking for some follow through, and you can see that there's some room to go there as well. Disney is one that had good earnings. And this is kind of the opposite story of a stock that's that took a hit. This stock gapped up and has stayed there now. You can see that this 133 level is the level that we're looking at. Kind of kissed it and almost reached it 2 days ago, kissed it a little bit yesterday, and had a pretty decent pullback yesterday. I'll just show you what that pullback looks like. This is what happened after it got up to that level, pulled back, recovered with the rest of the market. But it's imperative that you have an alert set for that 133 level. And I want to see, very similar to what we talked about in Caterpillar, I want to see it get up to that level, close above that level on a daily chart, and then start looking for a new trade. So we can actually take a look at what I mean in Caterpillar here. This is what we're looking for, to pause above 140 before we looked at 150 and then maybe even 160. So now we got 2 days of pausing in Caterpillar. It will be in my list again today to keep an eye on as long as it stays above 140. Penn is the one of the stocks that I mentioned yesterday. You can see it's actually at all-time highs. Also had one of our favorite trading signals yesterday, and was just an easy trade to manage using what we talked about in our coaching call on Monday night. AMD is the other one that we've been saying every day should be in your watch list, and you can see strong stock pulled back, always looking to buy that stock as long as the story and the tape stays the same. Yesterday in AMD was just a gift to everybody in the community, and we were in the stock. It's a stock that we game planned, and that's what you want to do. When the market volume dries up and the opportunities feel like they're a little bit tougher, you want to make sure that you're in the right stocks, and you have those stocks in the universe. And then after the market opens, you really need to use that watch list to find the better ideas. So we're still looking for the stock to follow through today. Another stock that's interesting, not really a volatile stock, but something that has now reached some pretty big levels with room to go. You can see clearly here now, PM, Phil Morris, got above that level, pausing above the level. As long as it's above 78, we're looking for a run at maybe even 90 for a new swing trade. Qualcomm, I kind of bashed this stock yesterday in the sense that I said I can't make money in it. I find it hard to trade. That doesn't mean it's not tradable. It is absolutely tradable. It's just one of those stocks that has me flummoxed. Absolutely should have your attention right now as well. Tesla is one that a lot of people were considering yesterday, but it's only one day. If you look to the left, it's still within this trading range that it's been in since earnings, but one day is a start. So today it might start working in the list where maybe now you can start dipping your toes in. If you didn't see the news about Tesla, as a stock split announced yesterday. I think it was 5-1 or 10-1. Don't quote me. There's a stock split yesterday. You can look it up on your own. Next we have NVIDIA. NVIDIA actually popping through there and looking at all-time highs again. You have to look at a stock at all-time highs. Today's lower opening doesn't matter. If you're looking for something, look at that order flow. Look at how clean that order flow is right now. Really just a question of where are you finding an entry. And OSTK, which has been very good to people in the boot camp this year, and you can see why. I mean, this is 2020 for OSTK. Obviously, very, very clear. Now, we have one of our favorite signals setting up today. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to tell anybody who's not in the boot camp. One of our favorite signals setting up today, which will put this stock back in our watch list today. Even though it was yesterday, it wasn't tradable. We weren't all over it yesterday in the way that we normally would be. So let's make some money in OSTK today, provided that it actually follows through in a way that matters to us, which all those intraday tape reading levels that we watch, if it hits our levels, let's trade it aggressively. If it continues to follow through, this is a stock that I would consider swing trading with the strong close. So I would day trade the stock, and if it closes strong because of how it's setting up on the daily chart, I would absolutely consider turning it into a swing trade. But we'll see. We'll see how the day unfolds. So that's the list for today. Apple obviously still strong. Facebook hasn't been as strong since that one explosion that it had last week where we called it and it rallied $18. Still definitely in play though. So you got to keep an eye. You always have to keep an eye. It's so interesting how the sector rotation went out of technology for 2 days and then forced its way right back in. I'm not sure I've ever seen sector rotation this quick in my career, where it's so obvious from one day to the next, which again, if you didn't watch today's Stocks for Breakfast video, definitely click on that because I talk about how to piggyback the smart money. It's an easy way to identify the sector rotation from a day in, day out, week in, week out basis and help you be in the right stocks that have the greatest chance of follow through because the smart money is trading them. It's our job to hop on their back. It's not our job to guess. There's no reason to predict. When it's obvious, the money's sitting in the corner, just go get it. We get in trouble when we don't pay attention, right? So hopefully you can partake in this list that we have today if it matches your personal criteria. And definitely click down and subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome. And if you want to trade together, learn about the boot camp. We could trade together too. Have a great day.